Good morning, friends. I am engineer Bala from India. I live and work in Vietnam. Today is the Tamil New Year being celebrated in India. Also, it's a solar New Year celebrated in Thailand as a Songkran. It's celebrated as Khmer New Year in Cambodia also. Today, I would like to do my second episode, Engineers Encounters. I am sharing with you my life story, my professional as well as personal experiences inside and outside India. Thanks for being with me. I would like to share my experiences with the young engineers and all the youth in the world. Thank you. Engineers Encounters. Number 2. Chennai Charms. Working in the Bangalore consultancy company gave me the endurance and patience to do the engineering related works. I remember one day we worked on a quotation for almost 48 hours. We continued through the night as a team, only to return home briefly the next day morning for showers and back to work and continue the work for the whole day and release our quotation. I had seen different characters of seniors, some soft-spoken, highly knowledgeable, yet sidelined in the company. Some dashing, tough-talking ones. I had something to learn from everyone. While I was busy at work for 3 years, there came a family problem. My mother was a chronic asthmatic patient for many years back home when we lived in Tamil Nadu. But her suffering was limited only to the winter season, say November and December. But when we moved to Bangalore, she started having difficulty in breathing and had to be hospitalized very frequently. In fact, there were many cases of people being normal in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai. When they traveled to Bangalore by train, they landed up straight into the clinics and they needed intravenous injection in Bangalore and cortisone administration. Blame it on the fact that Bangalore is 920 meters above mean sea level on Deccan Plateau, or the Parathenium. My mother's suffering was true. Though my relatives in Bangalore offered a helping hand, I had to take off to take care of my mother. My boss once told me seriously, Bala, you have to do something to keep your mother healthy so that your work is not affected anymore. I have to really thank him for being candid and such a blunt advice what he had given. Sometimes hard, bitter truth is better than sweet and soft lies. Isn't it, friends? To keep my mother healthy was simple. Just I needed to relocate to a hot tropic place like Chennai. When you encounter problems, universe also leads to solution through someone, some way. All we need to do is to keep our eyes and ears wide open and listen. The same happened when my Kerala colleague, he just returned from Chennai. Then he had faced a peculiar problem. he got a placement in a prestigious engineering contracting firm in Chennai. When he went there for joining, he realized that his placement was based on his post-graduation. He got the position as a postgraduate engineer, wherein he had an arrear in the post-graduation. So the Chennai firm, the firm's HR, promptly handed over him the regret letter that he could not be accommodated based on his graduation alone. This sparked an idea in my mind. I had all the suitable qualifications for the post in Chennai. I shot a CV with a covering letter to their city office in Chennai without knowing the exact address of their engineering office in the outskirts of Chennai. It was the outskirts of Chennai those days, not now, because Chennai has really grown up in the last 20-25 years, say. Lucky me, the document, the CV which I sent to their city office was promptly forwarded to their engineering office, and in a couple of months I had the interview from them, and I was placed in their engineering office in Chennai, and I started continuing my structural design engineer work from Chennai. My mother's condition was back to normal. I was busy working for their projects in Malaysia and Nepal with the direction and guidance of one of the best engineers in the industry. We started doing some reverse engineering based on some pre-designed bridges and aqueduct structures. This time the design calculations still continued to be manually made on paper with pencil. But for the structural analysis, we had a separate room and a PC that runs Stat3 program, and we took turns by time sharing. The drafting section in this company was no more manual drafting on boards, and the scratching of the blades for corrections is already done with. There was a big room with AutoCAD stations that saw two shifts of draftsmen churning out structural drawings day and night. For the fact, in this place, I learned on material list also being placed in the drawings as a part of steel detailing process. I had opportunity to represent the company for technical meetings in Mumbai, Ratnagiri and all. At times, the meetings for which I go look like a war field on a conference room. I later realized that I was sent as a pawn in the meeting, like in the chessboard the pawns are moved for being sacrificed or for being cut, to answer some scheduled delays about which I had no idea. Once in such a meeting, I put on the table a Xerox copy of a fender brochure or something. The whole team sitting against me jumped and grabbed the document. It was a pre-Google era, and we were all information starved those days. I was sent to Nepal for a water bridge aqueduct project approval meeting. My first wedding anniversary was celebrated alone in Nepal. Of course, the feast was still available thanks to a Tamil colleague family who lived there. The international consultant had earlier commented that our design was erroneous. After my face-to-face meeting with them, I could defend my company that our design was very much correct, considering the stiffness of two trusses in action, wherein they had considered only one for that purpose. I still remember the kind Canadian consultant, who was an old man, who was overseeing the Nepali authorities who did the vetting of our works. He told, approve if you don't have any catastrophe. I learned my lesson of life. Look at big things, look at the full picture while keeping small things not to hinder our path for completion. Perfection is important. More important is the schedule, timely accomplishments with a reasonable quality and accuracy. Nepal trip taught me one more valuable lesson in my life. While you are in business travels, never look for the choice of foods like back home. I had stayed in the guest house in Delhi on my way back to Chennai. When I traveled from Kathmandu to Chennai, I had to take the transit in Delhi. I stayed in the company guest house. The chapatis and dal were so nice. I kept eating and I took the auto rickshaw to Delhi railway station at the last moment. The auto driver was a Punjabi. It seems that he was also new to Delhi. He came from the village. He had to figure out how to reach the Delhi railway station, asking the locals on the way. Remember, it was 1994, the year I'm talking about. You had no Google Maps at that time. Finally, we landed in Delhi railway station through the back entrance. I was on the platform looking at the Tamil Nadu Express train which I am supposed to take. I could see the last compartment vanishing in perspective view in front of my eyes. I stood helpless for a moment. Next came the damage control exercise. I returned the first class ticket at the station ticket counter, got refund and booked a second class ticket to travel after a couple of days. Ashamed to return to the company guest house, I took a cheaper lodge very close to the railway station. I faxed the papers promptly to the head office, the approval documents, and then I gave them an explanation letter. I recollected what my dad used to say on being punctual to the railway station or to the bus stand by being there at least an hour before the departure time. This lesson helped me a lot during my local and international travels. Having a banana or the food served in your seat on a coach is better than missed trains, flights and missed opportunities. Engineers having technical expertise alone is not sufficient. They need to be well organized, agile and quick-paced when it comes to customer meetings and schedules. The impression created by timely presence will be the first step and first success in any business encounter. I wish to share this with my young friends here. Engineers encounters will continue. See you in the next episode. Bye bye until then.